Friends and comrades, greetings and salutations. I am Admiral Andre and I heartily welcome you back to Transport Fever. Today I'm going to start with my free game Let's Play. I'm still going on with the various scenarios of the campaign. I've just finished the Panama Canal, or at least I finished the recordings, but I'm still going to upload 2 of those episodes. I've only uploaded 1 so far. But I thought it doesn't prevent me from trying my own free game alongside that. So hopefully it will go well. So let's see what happens. Just click there and let's get it started. So this is of course the generation screen for the free game maps if you are not familiar. We have very basic choices here. Either we go to Europe or to the USA, and of course that will determine the vehicles that we get to use, as well as the landscape and the names of the cities and so on. So for this one, let's go to the USA. I think that will be a nice one for us for this particular thing that I have in mind. So, world size, definitely large. World format, I think 1:3 is a nice one. It's a little bit different from the normal square map, the 1:1. So, it will add a little bit of an extra dimension, I think, to this particular Let's Play. Terrain type, let's go for hilly. I like the hilly one because it adds a little bit more variety to the terrain. So, we don't have just a sort of an ordinary or even a boring flat map, although I won't say it's boring. It depends what you want to do with it, of course. But let's go for hilly. That represents real life a bit more accurately, I think. The start year, obviously you've got your basic 3 choices of 1850, 1900 and 1950. At least now in this particular Transport Fever, the developers made it possible that you can select any one. You don't have to start in 1850 and unlock 1900 and 1950. But they went even further than that, and they added the feature of allowing us to select a custom starting year, or decade at least. We can go per decade. And that really makes a big difference if you want to customize your experience. Obviously that gives you more freedom. So I thought I've got something in mind, so let's start in 1920. If you are familiar with the game, you might already have a clue as to what I want to do, but I'll explain more once we get into the game. Difficulty, medium. Medium is going to be hard already, based on what I have in mind for this particular Let's Play series. And it's almost like a scenario. I'm going to play it as a scenario where I make up a story and a backstory and so on, so that we can have an enjoyable experience. It's not just a bland playthrough and connect this and connect that and so on. So, the seed, very important. That determines, of course, what the actual map will look like. Now, I still don't know if the seed has any kind of, how can I say, if it's going to be the same for all players. I would assume that it would be, but I heard once with Train Fever that the seeds are actually influenced somewhat by your own computer setup, and that therefore you'll never get exactly the same map as somebody else with the same seed. So I'm not sure about this one. We can try it out, so if you would like to play along, then please do feel free. So let's see, how am I going to proceed? What shall I call it? Well, let's use today's date. What could be more specific than that? So it is the 19th of November 2016. Now, if you are in North America, just note, I put the day first, not the month. So 19/11/2016. Let's get into it. And there we go. Let's pause immediately. It didn't take too long, but I'll cut out the loading screen anyway. And the first sight that greets us is this magnificent lake. So let's look around the map and see what we are dealing with. So let us pretend the way that we are looking right now, which is how we started, is north. So south is down here. Oh, it's a nice big map. Let's have a look. So Athens is here in the corner. I always just like to orientate myself before doing anything. And just a warning again, this will be quite a slow Let's Play. I'm going for a much more relaxed kind of a setup, so this will not be a very super fast build or anything. So just keep that in mind. Santa Rosa is down here, St. Louis, or St. Louis I suppose, Alexandria, Torrance, Boston, Santa Clarita, just to have a look. So then basically the map is split in two by this river and lake. If you really wanted to emphasize boats, you could destroy these bridges and just use boats to transport things across, but I'm not going to do that now. Then there's another river that cuts this corner into a separate section. New Orleans, Hartford, Tulsa, Phoenix, Toledo, Oklahoma City, Akron, and I don't know, Mesquite. And then again the river continues there. So very lovely map, and I like the way that the mountains have been generated. They are certainly very impressive, not just hills now. So let us just have a quick discussion about what I have in mind. So we can sit here by the side of the lake and just have a little bit of a talk. So it's 1920, and if you know anything about the game, that is the year that the first airplane becomes available. We start in April now. It started on April 1. It's already April the 2nd. So the very first Junkers F-13 transport plane is already available. Now, in history, that was about the time that the first commercial airlines were established. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the oldest continually operating commercial airline is KLM of the Netherlands, of course, and they were founded, I think, in 1919. But it was around that time that commercial air travel really became a reality, essentially. So I think the timing is good. Now, what I want to do is I want to play this as an airline company, not with trains or trucks or anything else. However, there is a catch. And really, if you have played the campaign, the European one, specifically Mission 5, you will know where I get my inspiration from for this. And they have a mission there. I won't give too much away, but if I explain it, it is anyway giving away the plot, where you have to play as an airline company in West Germany in the 1950s. That's when you start anyway. So you can only build a few bus stops, and really the focus is on making money with your airline. And that really opened my mind as to the possibilities of this game. Usually people will play with all the different options, and of course that's brilliant, and I will still do that as a free mode eventually. But I thought this will really set it apart. We are starting out in the very pioneering days of the air industry. And what a better thing then to do than to try and actually succeed as an airline. So I have no idea if this will succeed. I think we're going to have a very rough start because obviously the towns are so small. The distances are quite large, but I think that is actually going to be in our favor. Obviously, to start, let's pretend Tulsa is our main city. Then obviously we will focus on the closest ones, but I wouldn't make it a very close one like New Orleans here to Santa Clara. That's too close for an airline, I think. At least maybe in the beginning with the slow planes it will be okay, but later it will be too close for a jet plane, certainly. And in that case, it gets to my second point now, which is where I will make the exceptions in terms of the different transport modes. Real airports in the world, all over the world really, have various means of connecting the passengers that use the airport to the center of whatever nearby city there happens to be. A couple of examples come to mind, but it's really applicable to all. In London Heathrow, of course, the main mode of transport connecting the airport to the city of London is by the underground, the tube system. But I have travelled on the Gatwick, or through the Gatwick airport as well in the UK, and that one is connected really by train with London. So that really inspires me as well. Let's say eventually Santa Clara has an airport, then I will not have a problem with connecting a train to New Orleans then to take people to the airport. That is really what happens. It's the same story in Hong Kong, where the airport is on a separate island and then there's a railway that connects it. Of course there's a road as well, but there's a railway that connects the airport with the actual population center. So in that case, I know people will anyway use that rail line to travel to the other city, but some of them at least will use the airport as well. I'm sure of it. So primarily I think connecting the airports to the city will be through bus. There must be some kind of a shuttle service, and I will really market it like that. But of course, to reach all the people, it will have to be like a normal bus network anyway. If we just have if I just use an overlay quickly, if I just connect the airport bus shuttle system to the residential areas, then what will happen is, of course, if someone wants to use the airport, they'll just travel from their home on the bus to the airport. But what happens when they get to the other side and want to go shopping, for example? Now the bus won't actually go to the commercial or industrial area if they want to work. So that might actually put them off from traveling on our airline. So I really have to connect the full city when I actually bring it into the network. Anyway, I'm really rambling now, so be prepared for a lot more of that as we proceed. At least this time I've got a timer here next to me, and it's going to buzz in about 19 minutes. So I have to try and keep the episodes reasonably short, with about a half an hour or so duration. But anyway, so let us go and pick a starting city now that the theme basically has been set up. And I just, now I'm obviously putting myself in this game. I just recently had an inheritance. We won't ask how that happened, but it happened. And I used a very large portion of that inheritance, let's say it was some property, to raise a loan through the bank. It was security on a $6 million loan, because we still have this loan and we must justify it thematically somehow. So there we go. I was granted this loan. The people in the town thought I was absolutely mad. Why would this person take this property and put up it as a security for a bigger loan, and then they want to start an airport company? Keep in mind, the airplanes are still very, very new things back in 1920, and commercial travel really still has to take off. It still has to happen. Even though initially air travel was mostly used for mail. So I guess that also supports then the argument that people don't really believe in it as a means of regular passenger travel yet. Anyway, so that just gives me my background in the story. So let's pick a city to start off with. Of course, first things first, we have to just have a look at the actual population sizes of the cities. Now, in this case, it's going to be a bit of a special situation, because I'm not making use of any of the cargo whatsoever. So obviously the cities are not going to grow very fast or, at their optimal rate if you supply them with cargo. And I know cargo is a big facet of this game. So this is only because I'm playing a specific scenario that I'm ignoring it. I would certainly use it in any other case. So population will be very important for us. It's our main resource, really. So Alexandria is the biggest town. Where on the map is this to be found? Alright, I don't want to see so close. So Alexandria is relatively in this corner, actually. Interesting. So about 400 people. Quite large, actually. Antioch, where is that? Other corner. Okay. Let's see if we can just have a look at something interesting. Torrance, also a very good candidate, actually. The smallest town is Santa Rosa. And, I am torn, really. I was thinking about this before I started. Where would I like to actually begin on the map? Obviously, I didn't know what the map would look like yet. But the biggest challenge would actually be to take the smallest town and use that as our airline hub. Obviously, I want to have like a headquarters, so most of the planes will land in that place. But the problem with this is it's so in the corner here. It would be a tremendous time to reach on, the other side of the map, and initially that will simply be impossible. Oklahoma City doesn't look like a bad choice either. It's in this valley, which of course makes normal transport very difficult for people, and will add some incentive for them to use our airline. Let's have a look. What's around the center of the map? That's also a good one. Then we can connect both sides. Tulsa might be another good option there. Let's see. Torrance, Santa Clarita, Boston. Boston could also be a good one. Really, I guess we could take anyone. Athens. Interesting little hill town there. And Santa Rosa. Alright, this is what I'm going to do. To add some extra challenge to our game, I'm going to take either Athens or Santa Rosa. What's the size of Athens? 223. Santa Rosa is 126. Okay, we're taking Santa Rosa. Absolutely ridiculous, and that's why the people here, this is now my hometown. Let's pretend I grew up here. The people here must think I am completely mad, because no one will ever want to travel here by air, and it's so isolated. Really, what am I thinking with this airline? So let's get started and set it up. So if I just click on the airport, now we have to be careful. Obviously, taking account of the gradient will be exceptionally important, but more than that, we have to allow for this airport to grow in the future, because we can upgrade it later on. A second runway can be added as well, I think in 1980. And if, of course, you are right next to the town, you are going to have to demolish an incredible amount of buildings unless you just build the airport somewhere else. But let's try and avoid that. This could be a good place. Actually, if I flip it over. Yes, okay, I've got something in mind. Let's do it like this. Now, unfortunately, that means that all of the planes taking off will go off into the nothingness. But this is really still part of the map for air travel. The airplanes can go all around here in the empty space. It's just removed for gameplay purposes from the land. Obviously, there must be some limit. So it doesn't matter that it's in the corner. But I want to set it up so that the approaching planes are actually approaching over Santa Rosa. As a symbol of, of the prosperity of the town. Everyone must see it from the air. That's my vision. Of course, eventually, not in the beginning, but I'm sure eventually people will be upset because it's going to be so much noise. But anyway. So let's put it somewhere out here. I don't want to remove a huge section of the mountain. You see, if I put it here, it's going to carve out a huge block from the mountain. So let's avoid that. Let's angle it a little bit. Also, I discovered recently, if you want to move your building, you want to rotate it, obviously you use N and M. But if you want to rotate it in little sections, you just add Shift. So Shift N or M. You see, much better. So if it doesn't line up exactly like you want, you can always use Shift. So let's do it something. Unfortunately, it is a bit expensive here, but I think that maybe let's just rotate it a little bit more. So I'm going to be very finicky in this particular series about placing things and making them look pretty. Let's say there. So I pay an entire fortune of almost, well, what's that, $1.6 million to have this dirt runway made out in the hills in the desert, and the people think, oh, he's crazy. He has totally lost it now. Let's make a nice road that extends. Obviously, a country road will be fine. And you always get this little bit of terraforming on the edge of any airport because it has to flatten so much land. So here I've got something in mind as well. But let's just curve it out nice and gentle. See, where does it have to connect? Somewhere there. There we go. Now obviously if I just leave it like this, no one will travel here, or at least very few people will travel here. So we're going to have to create a shuttle service to the town. Again, I just must delete some things to make it look a bit nicer. There we go. Nice gentle curve there. Now, the other thing is, and I'm not sure how this is going to affect the upgrades later. It might actually be a really bad idea, but I'll try it anyway. What I want is when the buses come here to drop the people off, I want them not just to stop right here and then turn around and leave. There's nothing wrong with turning around there, of course, and we will see it in other places. But here I want to build a nice sort of a, how can I say now, you know, with a normal airport you have this drop-off area. So something like that. Now, of course, this will be cutting into the landscape here, but that will just have to do, I guess. So it approaches on the right-hand side. Now I just have to think, how am I going to make this now? Let's see. Okay, shall we go into it? Why not? I don't know. That'll probably be bad for the upgrade. So let's not do it. Okay. Let's just take a start somewhere. Okay, I'm going to drop it so that it keeps the level that we've got there. Unfortunately, I know it's terraforming a lot of the land, but it's okay. It's adding part of the, you know, being an impressive airport, especially for 1920. There we go. Now you see what I'm playing at. A nice circle here so that they can stop there and just drop people off, and the people don't have to cross the road to get to the airport. We want to make it convenient travel. At least that's the theme for the company, you know? Nice and convenient travel. Let me see if I can flatten this. Totally optional, of course, but like I said, I want to make things look a bit nice and, you know, play around with some of the decorations and things. There we go. Very nice. I'll make this into a park for the people. So let's have a look at the other tools now. First, the bus stop. So the bus will come in here and drop them off on the right hand side right there. Let's just put it a bit back from the road. There we go. Now let us put some decorations up. Another thing that I learned, if you want to place benches and things, do that first before you place the trees, because the trees will be removed as soon as you put a bench down near to it, but it's not the opposite way, so you can do that fine. So let's say this is the park area, so we're going to have a couple of these benches, because you know they added these assets to the game, so let's use it anyway. We've got a bit of a collision there. Something like that, a nice big bench. Then one more here. So I think the best thing would be, you know, if you want to relax, you can come and take a watch here with me. Doesn't make any sense, but anyway, you can just relax with these videos. It will be nice and slow, no shouting or carrying on here, like some channels, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's like Tina Turner said in one of her songs with Ike, cussing, crying and carrying on. You know, there's a lot of channels that do that already, so I'm not doing that. There we go, a nice little area where people can sit and chat with their neighbors and wait for their ride to show up. There we go, something like that. So let's put some lights up. It makes no difference whatsoever, but again, it's just for the actual show of it. Something like that, and some fences. This is really the only decoration or ploppable assets in the game that we can play with that doesn't have anything to do with transport. So let's make use of it. See, there's now a perfect example. It's not lining up very well. Here we go. Great stuff. So I can just put another one up here. I can already see there's going to be no action in this episode. That's okay. Somehow back there. Unfortunately, it's going to clip into the assets. So let's just put one No, let's forget that. No, I think this is fine. Already it adds us just a bit of an interesting feature there. So let's put some of these lamps by the bus stop. We want it to be well lit. I wonder if the developers will ever add a day-night cycle. Somebody actually asked that in their frequently asked questions on their Train Fever or Transport Fever website, and they said they might actually consider it at some point, so who knows. Let's add some trees here now, and it must be the conifers because we are in the drier area. Just don't want it clipping through the bench. That should be okay. We get another one of these dead tree stumps. If you click on something else and then back, you can usually get something else. Ah, a nice tree in the middle there for a bit of shade. Something there as well. And some bushes maybe. The big trees usually cause collisions with other objects. So let's just put another tree here. Nice, so that's already something, you know, but something different. Okay, so we've done that. Now we can put up the bus service, and this is going to be very easy because this town is so minute. So the bus will leave the airport. And where shall it stop now? Let's stop there. And then once there, eventually this will expand because you can see right now, people on this end of the street are not willing to walk to this stop. Or even though it seems very short, they can only cross at pedestrian crossing. So there's not one up there. So the people must walk all the way down, cross the street and walk all the way back up. So I'm still going to do it because eventually there will be an intersection on that road, so I think it will be fine. And like that. So there we go. Very simple. New line, and let me just rename this Santa Rosa Airfield Express. Okay, I can't fit it all in there, so let's just say Exp. So the people now really think I'm mad because I'm even making an airport express as if it's going to be something very popular, but people have their doubts. Always there will be naysayers. So now that that's done, let's set up the other end of the first line. So where would be a good option? Let's have a look here. St. Louis might be a bit too close, I think. I mean, then they have to take off just to land there. No, I think it's going to have to be Athens. Athens would make a very nice run across the mountains there that people really can't reach on their own. Sure, you do get the cars already, but that's a very long drive to get to Athens, so these towns would really not be connected in any other way. Now the question will be finding a spot for the airfield. So again, they'll come in from the left now to land. No, from the right actually. So this would be a good orientation, but the problem is fitting it in here is a real issue now. The gradients are very uncooperative. That could do. You can see they're cutting out a section of the hill there for the approaching aircraft. Really, I would like to avoid that if I can at all. Certainly that won't do. We can put it here in the valley, but that might be a very long connection. Certainly that can't be upgraded in the future either. So it'll have to be here. We've got $4 million. Let's try not to spend all of it. Something like that. Ah, okay. Well, it's done. It's all over. So now, just doing the same thing. Let's have a look. I think, where is it going to go? Shall we curve it like that? Oh, it seems to work nice first time around. There we go. Eventually, of course, the town will expand here and build normal city streets, but that's okay. Now just this story again. Let's see if I put it. See, I can go that way as well, but I'm very worried about the airport's expansion. But again, this won't be our main hub, so maybe it will be okay. Let's just make it level again. Just something like that. I don't have to go too far towards the actual building. There we go. Very nice. And there seems to be a bit of a valley there in the middle, so let me try and smooth it out a bit if I can. Sometimes it won't allow it because it's too close to the road itself, and this is one of those cases. Oh well, it's fine, it's part of the feature of the terrain. Now let us have a look. So the buses will come in here, so they'll have to stop on the right and then leave again around this circle. And I'll fix the decorations a little while later. Let's just get the first bus running there. My phone is starting to buzz, warning me I must stop now. But I think we can't leave it until the first planes at least are set up to go. So when the buses come back, I actually don't want them stopping in the residential areas first. Let me just connect this road here. There we go, so we can make a loop there. So they come in here, they stop in the center of town, they go around to there, then they turn around. Now will they be able to cross here? I guess not. No, they won't. That's a problem. Okay, very easily fixed. I just build a little extension. The town can make use of it later anyway. Now there'll be crossings for pedestrians. Of course, in real life, people will just run over the road, at least here in South Africa anyway. Don't bother with crossings. So something like that, and then on this side, again there's a bit of a lack there, but I'm sure the town will add more streets anyway. So we add one there, then we come down here. Actually no, let's play around with this a little bit. Somebody's going to lose a factory. I'm sorry about that. There we go. Don't want to create these horrible hills in the roads. Want to make it as smooth as possible. So then it will come down here, and again the same problem here. Let's just add an extension. There we go. They can play around with it later. So right there it can stop, then there as well, and then back. Excellent, so we sorted that one out. Now just let's create the line. So it leaves the airport, it stops there in the middle of town, then it goes up to the other commercial residential area, then to the industrial, more industrial, residential, and residential. There we go. So if you are traveling here for business, you can go directly to those areas. What is this town? Athens. So Athens Airfield Express, and I could fit it all in. Excellent. So we just renamed the airfields as well, not airports yet. There we go, and oh dear, our money is a severe problem. Great, so now they still have one more step. That's the road vehicle depots. It is possible to put them here, of course. Somewhere anyway. Let's just put it in the town, because that's where the buses will spend most of their time. And again, in the industrial sections, I do love to put the depots in industrial areas. Again, that doesn't line up, so very easy, we fix it. There we go. It's a bit of a hill there, but that's okay. Now the money, we're going to have to build one more, and then let's buy the airplanes before we get the buses. I do hope this is going to work. I have no idea, so this might be a very short series. There's no real flat area to build in this town, so we're just going to have to carve into the landscape. There we go. Now, the airplanes. So I want to have, again, I'm a bit undecided yet. Indecisive, undecided, I'm mixing my words. As to whether I want one color for all the airplanes, because that's our corporate identity. Of course, it makes no sense in 1920. Maybe it did, but the other option is to have different colors for different lines, so that I can immediately distinguish which planes are coming from where. Maybe I will do that, at least at the beginning, because we don't have that many lines. At this point, only one. So buy aircraft, and the only option is the Junkers F-13, the world's first all-metal transport aircraft developed in Germany at the end of World War I. So the people must think, what am I doing importing German planes? And it's only a year after the end of the war. So let's make this one, this medium dark blue, and buy one. Actually, I'm going to have to take out some more debt. That other airport really cost me. We have to still create the line. So let's set it up from here all the way through to Athens. And it makes a nice circuit there. Where do I rename this line? There we go. Let me just increase the volume a little. I played around with it before I started. Then what else do I have to do? I bought the airplanes, now the buses. So yes, unfortunately I have to go back to the bank and borrow another 500,000. So our only real option now, apart from a stagecoach, is the Mac bus. And I think all the buses can be the same color, because these are airport express buses. Even if the people use it to travel around in the towns, which they will, it's still an airport express. So I want that kind of, again, the corporate identity. No matter which town you are in, you know the buses that have this middle red color are Admiral Andre's airport or airline buses. So let's buy 5 of them. Or no, is that too much? Let's buy 5. This town is anyway a bit bigger. So this is the Athens Airfield Express, and then we just hop back over to Santa Rosa. Here I can buy 3 or 4 just to get started. It's so small. Okay, 4. Santa Rosa Airfield Express. So now that we have created this company here, I have to give it a name. So let us, I've already now tried to think of one, but let's call it Admiral Airways and Transport Company or something like that. Just Admiral Airways for short. So let's run the clock. Of course, we'll make no money in the beginning, but that's the nature of the beast. So I'll play it on really fast. Just what I want is us to take off and land in Athens. Then I will end the video. Stop here with no passengers, but hey, it's a start. And I guess in a way we can also train pilots. So we will certainly make a contribution to this regional economy. And we are ready to take off. Are you strapped in? And there we go. Very nice. Open skies in all directions. So yes, here the world really is flat, but of course the game has to put a limit somewhere. Can't be infinite. Now we just fly over to Athens. I hope we'll make it over the mountains. We might actually not, but we'll just pass right through them. Unfortunately, it will be way too expensive to cut giant passages in the mountains just for this. Of course, in real life, they would just fly over. Well, maybe that's a good idea then if you're playing an airline or planning on using airplanes a lot, to actually use a moderate or flat map. But still, we try. And then we just have to turn right here and a very nice journey, don't you think? Lovely. So let's see what the actual frequency is of the flights at the moment. So it's showing only the one because I didn't even put the other one on the line. Should I wait? No, let's just set it now. It will space itself out. So the frequency is 17 minutes, which is of course now it's dropping still 12 minutes. So that's not bad at all for such a large distance. So anyway, that's it for this episode. Again, I completely went over my, just want to see what was that, a bus, so we can actually have new buses now. But I completely went over my time. So anyway, hope you enjoyed, and it would be nice to see you in the next episode. So do leave me some feedback, and let's hope we can make it. Right now it doesn't look like this will be a very successful business, so maybe the people were right. Anyway, have a fantastic day.